Okay, so have you written down the title yet, or the question? Yeah. All right, so essentially, to do this question well, and to do it, to I guess get the top marks, the part takeaway from presenting it in front of the class is, first things first, we've got to think about the three categories in that booklet I gave you at the start of the Speer topic. Which category do you think this falls into? Okay. So I'll put this up here now. Oh, sorry. So, here they are here. You read those three categories and you tell me which one, the question you've written down your page, which category you think that fits into for analysis. Impact, good. So number two, very good. Okay, because what's the question really asking you? What is that question asking you? Alan.
That history is only determined by those who are in power.
Yeah?
Or those who actually survive.
Those who survive. Okay, good. That's a good way to interpret it. Okay, so do you agree with that statement though? History is about winners. Yes? So do you think then therefore it is accurate in regards to Albert Speer? So so this is the thing, the way you're going to think about this, guys, and I want you to write this down, okay? First thing you have to do, okay? You need to define how you understand the statement. And the second thing is then you need to link that to actually answering the question. So you need to link your understanding of the statement to answering the question in regards to Speer. So what I'm going to do today, and it's only going to be a short little lesson. Bit louder? Yeah, larger, sorry, yeah, sure. There we go. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through just two different kind of analyses you could approach this question with. Okay, and both of them are doable in the sense that you could get top marks doing either one. Okay, and so the first one I'm going to put down now. So is history all about the winners? So that one's all actually putting out the premise that history isn't always written by the winners. Okay? And so the sub-eye question you think about in regards to that is, did Speer fail, but still at the same time contribute to history? Would anyone agree with that?
I don't think he failed.
Yeah?
I don't think he failed.
Why not? Elaborate.
Because isn't he like the only surviving the only surviving person from the Nazi party?
The top Nazi regime, very good, yep. Yep.
So he's the only one who can actually record or write about or give an opinion into what actually happened in the Nazi party.
Yep. So would you therefore define winning in regards to his situation as surviving? Yes? Yep. Okay, good. All right, so this is one way you can approach it, and you can actually disagree with the statement and say you actually don't think all the time winners are the ones who write history. Okay? And you've got to sort of think about what evidence you would use to support that. The other way you can do it is you agree with it. Okay? History is all about winners. Okay? And then you have to, okay, you have to argue how Speer was a winner. And therefore, how did he contribute to history? Does that make it a little bit easier to sort of think about the statement and the question? Yes, no? Yeah. I highly recommend you either pick one way or the other, and you've got to make it clear. And the big thing is when you are making a judgment about this statement, okay, the key thing is consistency. If you make a clear statement from the start, back yourself and stick to it. There's nothing worse, especially if you're presenting, and you start with a very strong statement, okay, strong judgment on the statement, and then you change that judgment at the end, because it shows there's no sustained argument. It actually shows you've changed your argument. Okay? What I want you to do now, I want you to think about what things could go underneath that, or even you want to call them out now, while we're still recording, so rather than save 10 minutes of just like absolute silence. If anyone has it a guess, we can just do some dot points. Okay? You tell me which one you want to put under. What kind of events, okay, you could put down to support one of those. Alan, you want to go first? You already sort of did one.
Survive.
Yep. So, Nuremberg. Okay? He survived. Massive winner. Okay? How else could you define also winning? If you think about that, try and think of another sort of synonym. Yeah, possibly, yeah. But during their lifetime, how could you, and you think about Speer, how could he be just defined as a winner? Let's start with S.
Success.
Yeah, success. Okay. So with this one, so how was Speer successful? That's another way to think about it. Okay?
Could you talk about his rise to prominence?
Yeah, absolutely. Specifically the very successful things he did. Okay, so, whoops. Rise to prominence. Yep, very good. Just make sure you be specific, okay? What else? There's another really big one, okay? Because you think about the little subheading underneath that. So, how was Speer a winner? He survived, okay? He was successful. But also, how did he contribute to history? Okay, good. Inside the what? Good, okay. Inside the Third Reich. Why is that such a, if you think about a successful contribution to history? Alan kind of alluded to this earlier. Why is Speer unique? The title of the book kind of gives it away too. Yeah, he's the only survivor of the Third Reich. Okay? So whether you agree or believe what he's actually writing in his book, the fact of the matter is no one else can contribute that information because they're all dead. Okay? So therefore, when you think about contributing to history, history is all about winners, he's contributing a significant part of that part of history. Okay? Something to think about. Let's go to this one. Let's try and do both sides. How are some things that could also... He did survive. Yes, he did survive. But he was on the failing age. So he was in the country that failed. Okay. What was the result of that? Did he get to walk scot-free? No. How long was he in prison for?
20 years.
Okay, good. All right. What was he actually, does anyone remember from that documentary we watched? Does anyone remember what he was actually hoping to happen?
They'd let him be in the new government.
Yeah. He was really hoping that the Allies, especially the Western Allies, the Americans, would really look to him favourably to walk in and take over the new Germany and help bring it back up to, I guess, being a functioning country. Okay, he was sorely mistaken. He was lucky to survive, and he ended up in prison. Okay? What else? What are some other things we can think about? The thing is, though, you don't always have to think about it as a failure. What do you have to disagree with? So you disagree with the statement. So you're saying that you'd be if you go down this path, all you're saying is, okay, that history is not always about winners. Okay, you'd have to argue somehow that Speer didn't actually necessarily win. Alright? Who could you actually talk about? There's a certain person who always talks about the guilt that Speer was overcome with through his later life. I'll give you a clue, it's a woman. Good, Edith Sereni. Very good. Okay? Okay? So, okay? Even they made reference to it when he was in prison, the priest he would go talk to. Okay? And you can even bring that into a judgment, the idea about does he feel like he's actually been successful? Yeah? What about if we just go to evaluation, what are some aspects of evaluation we can bring in? The last dot point we did. There's two things I want you to focus on. Try and get something from significance and evaluation, and also bring it back to also his book, Inside the Third Reich. Because the way I want to try and get you guys to think about this is you could argue this both ways. Yeah? So one thing I want to bring your attention to is, okay, theoretically, when he's part of Germany, is he a winner or a loser when it comes to the war? He's a loser, okay? So he lost the war. Yeah? So essentially, so the statement's saying history is all about winners. Therefore, winners are the only ones that... No, you're right. Winners are the only ones that write history. Okay? How is Speer negating that statement? How is Speer going against that statement? Because Speer was part of the country that lost the war. But what does he end up doing in the future? He writes the history of that war. Okay? How are you, Luca? So that goes completely against the statement. Do you understand what I mean? Yeah? But he still contributed significantly to the writing of history, okay, of World War II. Can you start to see how you can go either way? I really don't want you to sit on the fence and go, well, the statement is accurate in some aspects, but it's accurate in other aspects. Okay, go one way or the other. Okay? Do you feel like you've already started to pick a side? Okay, Alan's nodding. Chloe's shaking her head. Okay.
Can you say that it's like accurate to a moderate extent, and then, or is that sitting like?
It is sitting on the fence. I definitely try and go one way and really just try and nail the argument. Okay? All right. The way you think, there's two ways you can do it. Like, and if you look at this, I'll just go back to this, right? So, it's where you say that it's number 2. So that question for part B is number 2, category 2. So impact of your personality. So how did Speer impact his time his nation, the world, nation or world history, yeah? So in this question, or that category, you would need to consider Speer's impact on architecture, on the Nazi war effort, and on the inside perspective he provided post-Spandau, okay, about Nazi Germany, so post-prison. So if you're already wondering about what you're going to write about, there's 3 things you can write about, yeah, in your part B. If you go across to here, up here. I'm trying to look where. Oh, here, sorry, my apologies. So it's 2008. History is about winners. How accurate is this statement in relation to the personality you've studied? A suggestion is perhaps define what a winner is, and then argue it is not. Okay, so that's one suggestion, which we've already covered in our little analysis, is that you define what a winner is, and then you say that Speer actually was not that. Okay? You can always go the other side, where I think some people are very strongly feeling that a winner is not someone who just comes first at a race. A winner could be someone who survives, yeah, a traumatic time in history. Yeah, Christian?
So that last stop point that you wrote under, about how he failed,
Yeah.
that also how he's a winner, because he got to write history.
Well, Ian, you mean this one here?
Yeah.
No, so that's one saying that's negating the statement history is about winners. So that one's actually saying the statement is not accurate. Okay? Whereas this bit here is saying the statement is accurate. Okay? For Albert Speer. Because you'd say, although he was, part of the German nation that lost the war, he represented many aspects of success and winning overall. Okay? And then you go through those main things. So you cover his architecture, his rise to prominence. Okay? And especially post-Spandau, his contribution to history. This one here, you're still doing the same kind of thing. You're saying, though, that the statement is not accurate because history is not all about winners. Because Speer was not a winner, but he still contributed to history. Okay? And he still was successful. It's a bit bizarre, but yeah. Okay? Despite being part of the losing side, he still could contribute. Okay? You got to think about which one you feel more comfortable to be able to talk about. Yeah, go for it, yeah. Okay? Any more questions, guys? The one thing I would recommend, once you figure out what your judgment's going to be, and Leanna, by the way, and Luca, I'm recording this, so you can listen to I'll upload it on YouTube so you can listen to this later. Okay? Yeah? Alright. So, when you figure out what your judgment is going to be, whether you take the top one or the bottom one, okay, figure out then what your content's going to be, and then find out what's historical evidence you can have supporting it. Yeah? Alright? And that will be so important. Does that clear it up a little bit? Yeah? Now, what do you remember about tomorrow? Tomorrow you're going to be writing a part A in class. Okay? I'll give you about 20-ish minutes, which is a lot more than you should be doing. Open book. So just try and smash it out. Yeah? Okay? And any other questions? No?